fall is officially here. And one of the things great about fall is you get to have great comfort foods. One of them being soup. Today we are working on a great recipe that I know I love and I know many people that I talk to enjoy as well. And that is broccoli and cheese, broccoli and cheddar, cheddar and broccoli, however you want to say it, soup. That's what we're talking about today, and that's what we're gonna make. I'm Will, it's In the Kitchen with Will. Let's get into it. Okay, so we are going to get started, and what we have here for our ingredients today is we have some chicken stock, some fresh cut broccoli, cloves of garlic, onion, shredded carrots, shredded cheese, heavy cream, and we are going to make, as I said in the intro, broccoli and cheddar, cheddar and broccoli, broccoli and cheese soup. Okay, so let's get started. So I'm going to dice up some onions here and get those ready. Get those diced up nicely there. Those off to the side. Our onion, our carrots are already shredded. I'm going to go ahead and mince up our garlic. Go ahead and slice, and then I'll mince. Okay, so we just got these nice and diced and minced here, ready to put them in. Now, I don't put them in until after I have sauteed and the onions have become translucent, excuse me. And then I throw in my garlic, because garlic can burn very quickly. So you want to try to put that in right after you've spent most of your high heat time cooking into there. We lost some little friends here on the side, off the side of the cutting board. All right, so we're gonna head on over to the stove, and we're going to take our carrots, our onions, and then after those two have kind of gotten fully cooked, then we'll add our garlic. As you can see, I've already pre-shredded our cheese here. So, and what I have been told and what I agree with is you want to use freshly grated cheese as much as possible. If you want to mix the grated cheese and a little bit of prepackaged shredded cheese, it's okay. But what I found is if you get there's a certain kind of creamy cheese that already comes pre-creamy cheese. I don't like the way it looks in the final product, but there have been people that have been satisfied with it. I personally will shred my cheese there. So I do a mixture of white and yellow cheddar, just because I like the Vermont white cheddar as the flavor, the bite behind it, but also it's just your simple extra sharp cheddar will be great in there as well. All right, so let's head on over to the stove. All right, everybody. All right, let's get started with our sauteing of the onions and carrots. I am going to be using a grapeseed oil, and that is because it has a high smoke value, as they say, So I'm just going to drizzle some grapeseed oil in the bottom of my pan. I'm going to put a fire on there. And you know, grapeseed oil was a new discovery to me recently. I had heard it on a lot of cooking channels, talked about it on a lot of cooking channels and different things like that, but I had never used it. And recently, if you saw on my TikTok, I used it in making a different onion soup. It really works a lot well. It works really well. And it holds a high temp. It's great. It's not smoky. It doesn't burn quickly. It's awesome. It's my newfound. I love it. This is the brand. This is the one I use here. It's grapeseed oil. Heats up quickly, but also does not burn as quickly as olive oil or some of your other cooking oils would. So I'm just going to toss in my onions here. And then we're going to add in our carrots as well and just let them and once that's sauteed down, we will add our garlic. I told you we're not going to add our garlic until once these have reduced and kind of cooked down, because we don't want our garlic to burn. So in the process, we'll just continue to stir and keep an eye on it, make sure nothing sits too long in one spot. All right, while they're sauteing up here and doing their thing, we'll go ahead and add a little salt and pepper and get those flavors in there. That equates to about, the recipe will be in the description below, but just for your understanding of watching the video, that was just about a half to a whole teaspoon of pepper there. And then we'll do salt there. The recipe that I'm working off of there's about a teaspoon of salt and half a teaspoon to a teaspoon of pepper. But you season it and you get it to the salt and texture, salt and pepper taste that you like. Everybody's salt and flavor desire is different. As you can see, the onions and the carrots are cooking down here. And you really want to get them nice and tender, nice and tender. All right, we're gonna go ahead and dump our garlic in here. Always seem to have some left over that won't want to get out the container we got going on there. We'll go ahead and stir in our garlic. As you see, we're building up this little residuals here on the bottom, and we'll deglaze that when we add in our chicken stock. There is one item of the ingredients that I did forget to mention in the introduction of the ingredients, and that was flour to make our roux. We're going to help thicken the soup. So we're just going to do a simple, just a 1/4 cup of flour here in our roux to kind of make that happen when it comes to thickening our sauce. So we're just going to add in just under a 1/4 cup of flour here. And we're going to stir that in, and you want to stir that in and we're going to cook that until the flour taste is cooked out as well. And we're going to continue to And then here shortly, we're gonna add in our chicken stock. I make my own chicken stock, but you can certainly do store-bought. But if you know, like I do, that the homemade chicken stock is so much better because you made it. So we're just gonna take and go ahead and pour in there our chicken stock. And okay, if you guys haven't noticed by now, I do make recipes on a smaller version because it is just me. So I do make recipes on a smaller version because of that. But I do give you the larger serving in the recipe description below. So we're gonna go ahead and stir our soup up here. And we're gonna let that reduce. If you find that you've lost some water, you can always add more stock. Excuse me, if you feel like you've lost some of your soup base here, you can always add more stock. I'm going to bring that up to a boil, and then I'm going to add in our broccoli next. So I'm gonna go ahead and put a lid on and bring it up to a boil. All right, so we brought it up to a boil here. We're gonna go ahead and drop in our broccoli and let that steam for just a little bit. And let that broccoli break down. And cook down. We'll go ahead and put our lid back on. All right, now we're gonna add in our heavy cream here to our dish. And again, bring that up to a low stir. And then we are going to continue to cook this down, and then we're going to add in our cheese, half of our cheese, and then we're going to add in the other half after we blend the mixture. So we'll give this a chance to simmer back up, let it reduce a little bit, and then we'll head on over to the blender to blend it. All right, we've given that a chance to reduce. So we're going to go ahead and add in cheese here. We're going to go ahead and stir that in. We're only doing half of our cheese here, and then we'll do the other half once we've blended it. This is just to let some of it reduce and melt. And it'll be blended in to our mixture. It's already smelling delicious. I wish you could smell it. All right, we'll let that cool down just a little bit, and then we'll head on over to the blender. All right, so we are back with our completed soup, well, almost completed soup. So I wanted to give two examples here. If you like your soup to be like this, where it has texture and you can see all your vegetables and everything is hearty, you can certainly stop right here and just sprinkle on some extra cheese on top and just certainly leave it just like that. And of course, it certainly can be delicious just like that. Or you can take it one step further and blend it and make it creamy. So that's what we're gonna do here. I'm gonna blend this and make it a full creamy texture, and then that's how we're gonna enjoy it today. All right, everybody, so here we go. Here is the finished product. Again, I said earlier, if you wanted to have that more chunky, heartier taste or texture, excuse me, to it, then you can certainly go with stopping where we did in the recipe and just leave it hearty and chunky like so. Or if you want that creamy texture like you're used to getting at most restaurants, or like it is for truly for soup season, then you can certainly blend it in the mixer, in the blender, mix and blend it in the blender to get that creamy, smooth texture. And I just put some of the fresh raw broccoli from earlier and some shredded cheese, additional cheese on top. I hope that you enjoy either one and that you will join us again next time on In the Kitchen with Will. As we say here, enjoy.